feel like adults and kids are just constantly being bombarded with like marketing messages that are designed to make us want more. But as a parent, I don't feel like getting my son a ton of toys is actually doing him any favors. Hey, I'm Amber. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today we are talking about why I don't purchase my son a ton of toys. What is the definition of a ton of toys? I do not have an answer for you because I think that that's very dependent on like how many kids you have, how big your house is, etc. Personally, I define not having a ton of toys by the fact that his toys are not like taking over our living room or even his own personal room. And when I notice that he's starting to get bored with some of his toys, my first reaction is not to like instantly purchase new toys to replace the ones that he's getting bored with. I do just want to say really quickly before we get into it that the purpose of this video is not to like shame anybody or make anyone feel bad. It's just to share a different way of doing things that I think can be really beneficial for kids. The first reason we don't purchase tons of toys is less clutter, less stress. I've believed for years now that a simplified home is more relaxing and peaceful to live in. When you have less, it's easier to find a place for everything and to keep everything in its place. And something I love about this is that cleaning up his toys takes no time at all. Like, I can clean everything in a couple of minutes just because there's not tons and tons of toys laying around and they all have like their little spot that they go in. So it's more relaxing for me, and I think it will be a good environment for him to grow up in because I definitely don't want him or any of my kids to like get comfortable living in clutter. I personally lived with someone who was like that and I hated it because he just was like so used to living in a mess that he almost like didn't notice when there was a mess. Small venting moment. Reason number 2 is that I really hope to teach my son to have a sense of gratitude for what he does have. We love our kids, and so it's so tempting just to want to purchase them like everything that will make them happy, but I feel like a lot of times excess can really quickly lead to entitlement. I don't just want to like give him everything just because he exists and because he's mine, if that makes sense. When you have just like a ton of crap, it's overwhelming, and my non-expert opinion is that it leads to you undervaluing all of it and constantly seeking out something else that's going to like add value, but then it just becomes a part of the mass of undervalued things. And I think that's what can like start this cycle that you see with some kids where they get something new and like 10 minutes later they're bored with it. I've actually found this to be true for myself. When I was about 25, that was like kind of when I started going the more minimalist route, and I had a ton of clothes. Like, I had half of a walk-in closet and an entire dresser filled with clothes, and I found myself every morning looking through all my clothes. It would take me forever to get dressed, and I'd be telling myself like, oh, I have nothing to wear. And on top of that, when I was at work, if I had downtime, I would find myself shopping sales to buy more clothes. And that's exactly what I was just explaining, what was happening, where I undervalued everything and was constantly just trying to get something new, like, oh, this is gonna be the thing I'm gonna wear a lot. And so I actually ended up getting rid of over half of my clothes, and I have not gone back since, and I love all my clothes. There's probably some kind of science to that. I don't know what it is. If you know, let me know in the comments. The third reason that I do not purchase him a ton of toys is because I have noticed, especially as he's getting older, that I can give him just safe, common household items and he will play with those just like they're toys. I have just found that he is so easily entertained by simple things. Like, for example, right now, I gave him like these little silicone cupcake, whatever these things are called, and he is having a great time. He's got a couple of them, so he like stacks them. He's got some wooden balls. I saw him like putting his wooden balls in these, and it's so cool to watch him get creative with something so simple. Really quickly, before we get on to reason number 4, if you are enjoying this video so far, please hit that little subscribe button down there. I would love to see you around here more often, and it really helps out my channel. There is a consumerism cycle, at least here in the US, where so much value is placed on what you have and how much you have. And I realize that there's only so much you can do to influence who your kids become. Like at some point, they're going to be their own person and you just kind of have to like let them fly. But to the best of my ability, I do not want to throw my son into that cycle. I want to give him as many opportunities as possible to explore the world around him, to use creativity and critical thinking to play, to engage in pretend play, and hopefully to place more value in who you are and in the experiences that you have instead of just the stuff that you have. Because at the end of the day, stuff is exactly that. It's just stuff and you can't take it with you. The last reason is that I am one of those people who thinks that it is really good and healthy for kids to sometimes just be bored and to deal with it. Now my son's 1, so we are not there yet, because if he's not playing with his toys, he is very content to just like crawl around or stare out the window. But I don't want to buy him all the things to prevent him from ever being bored. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty positive that there are some studies that show that letting your kids be bored can also help them with their creativity, and it can help them like discover passions and hobbies that if they constantly have something to do, they might not otherwise discover. And I can't tell you if what I'm about to say is going to actually work or have the effect that I'm hoping that it will, but I am hoping that letting my son occasionally be bored will help lay the foundation for managing screen time later on, because I do see kids now that constantly need to be doing something, and it's usually like on their phone or like playing a video game, watching TV. Like they can't just be. And so I'm really hoping that if we start now with just letting him have moments where you just have to figure it out, like do something else, use your toys in a new creative way, or maybe just be bored and be okay with it, that will transfer to being okay with just being occasionally when he's a little bit older. And this is true for adults too. The phones, the screens, all of it is highly addictive. So I feel like we need to do as much as we can to try to help our kids mitigate this, because it's going to be harder for them than it is for us. To wrap all of this up, I don't deny my son toys. Like, he has toys, he's got some variety. And if you want to hear about the types of toys that I buy for him, why he loves them and why I love them for him, make sure to check out this video right here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you are having a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!